tech-savvy.
Marjorie A. Apolinar-Petilo, complainant, versus attorney Aristides A. Maramot, respondent. AM number 9067, 3rd Division, January 31, 2018, bears Amin, J. The respondent cannot be relieved by his justifications and submissions. As a lawyer, he should not invoke good faith and good intentions as sufficient to excuse him from discharging his obligation to be truthful and honest in his professional actions. His duty and responsibility in that regard were clear and unambiguous. In Young v. Batwigas, the court reminded that truthfulness and honesty had the highest value for attorneys. The omission indicated that the deed of donation was not complete. Hence, the notarial acknowledgement of the deed of donation was improper. Rule 2 Section 1 of the Rules on Notarial Practice provides that Section 1. Acknowledgement. Acknowledgement refers to an act in which an individual on a single occasion a. appears in person before the notary public and presents an integrally complete instrument or document. Facts. In her complaint affidavit, complainant Marjorie A. Apolinar-Petilo, Marjorie, alleges that the respondent consented to, abetted and participated in the illegal act of falsifying a public document. The public document in question was the deed of donation executed in favor of Princess Anne Apolinar-Petilo, Princess Anne, and Mameda V. Apolinar, Mameda, who were only 12 years old and 16.5 years old, respectively, at the time of its execution. Asserting that the respondent had known of the minority of the Downeys, Marjorie insists that he was thereby guilty of falsification first in his capacity as a lawyer by preparing the deed of donation and indicating therein that both Downeys were then of legal age, and as a notary public by notarizing the document. She claims that he, being Mameda's counsel in the latter's adoption case, was aware of the untruthful statements he made in the deed of donation because he thereafter submitted the deed of donation as evidence therein. Respondent submitted that he did not employ any falsity because it was only Margarita the donor who had in fact attested to the execution of the deed of donation in the notarial acknowledgement of the deed of donation, that it was inconsequential even if Princess Anne had signed the deed of donation not in his presence. That in conveyances, only the person encumbering or conveying needed to personally appear, sign and acknowledge the deed before the notary public, and that Princess Anne and Mameda's names were placed in the document merely for them to accept the donation. Issue: whether attorney Maramot participated in the illegal act of falsifying a public document and thereby violated the lawyer's oath, Rules 1.01 and 1.02 of Canon 1 and Rule 10.01 of Canon 10. Yes. Ruling: as a lawyer pertinent in this case are Rule 1.01 and Rule 1.02 of Canon 1, and Rule 10.1 of Canon 10, which provide. Rule 1.01 A lawyer shall not engage in unlawful, dishonest, immoral, or deceitful conduct. Rule 1.02 A lawyer shall not counsel or abet activities aimed at defiance of the law or at lessening confidence in the legal system. Rule 10.01 A lawyer shall not do any falsehood, nor consent to the doing of any in court, nor shall he mislead or allow the court to be misled by any artifice. The respondent prepared the deed of donation. At the time of his preparation of the document, he actually knew that Princess Anne was a minor. Hence, his claim of having then advised that her parents should represent her in the execution of the document. Mameda was likewise a minor. His awareness of the latter's minority at the time was not disputed because he was also representing Mameda in the latter's adoption proceedings aside from being Mameda's neighbor. Nonetheless, he still indicated in the deed of donation that the Downeys were of legal age. His doing so, being undeniably dishonest, was contrary to his oath as a lawyer not to utter a falsehood. he thereby consciously engaged in an unlawful and dishonest conduct, defying the law and contributing to the erosion of confidence in the law profession. The respondent cannot be relieved by his justifications and submissions. As a lawyer, he should not invoke good faith and good intentions as sufficient to excuse him from discharging his obligation to be truthful and honest in his professional actions. His duty and responsibility in that regard were clear and unambiguous. In Young v. Bachuagas, the court reminded that truthfulness and honesty had the highest value for attorneys. As a notary public, the respondent is also being hereby charged with having executed the notarial acknowledgement for the deed of donation despite Princess and not having actually appeared before him. The respondent explains that he did not employ any falsity or dishonesty, and that he did not make untruthful statements in executing the notarial acknowledgement. Nonetheless, the respondent's denial of having employed any falsity or dishonesty, or of making untruthful statements in executing the notarial acknowledgement does not necessarily save the day for him. There is no question that a donation can be accepted in a separate instrument. However, the deed of donation in question was also the same instrument that apparently contained the acceptance. The names of Princess Anne and Mameda as the Downies, even if still minors, should have been included in the notarial acknowledgement of the deed itself. And, in view of their minority, the names of their respective parents, or legal guardians, assisting them should have also been indicated thereon. This requirement was not complied with. Moreover, Princess Anne and Mameda should have also signed the deed of donation themselves along with their assisting parents or legal guardians. The omission indicated that the deed of donation was not complete. Hence, the notarial acknowledgement of the deed of donation was improper. Rule 2 Section 1 of the Rules on Notarial Practice provides that Section 1. Acknowledgement. Acknowledgement refers to an act in which an individual on a single occasion a. appears in person before the notary public and presents an integrally complete instrument or document.
Tax Hobby. Hit like and subscribe.